What you doing? We got to film.
So right there, well, that's a Jameer. Now, what is Jameer? Well, it's a good buddy of mine. Two, he's trying to breed salamanders. You don't see that a lot in America, especially. And, he has a little social media right there. So why don't you go follow it? He's also the cameraman of this video. Alright, so in this video, it isn't a how-to guide, because I don't feel like I've gained enough knowledge myself to make a how-to guide on how to build a wood enclosure. Yet. But this video is going to be a lot of what not to do. They give you help, give you some ideas, and just some, shits and giggles, enjoy your stuff. See me fumble around and do some dumb things, but at the end of the day, worked out pretty well. Hope you get to see it at the end of the video, though. One of the many tips I'm going to give in this video is to simply not do it at night. Because, one, you can't see. Now, see, if I didn't have my trusty cameraman here with me holding a flashlight, this would have been very annoying, took a lot longer, and it just would have been generally more of an annoyance. Now, the next thing I do want to go over till we start talking about the cage and me in front of it and all this and that, is that you see that thing in my hand? We call that wood glue. Now, you know what wood glue is? It's essentially liquid nails. Why am I using it, you're probably asking? It's because I saw about a guy, about 300 pounds, sitting on a piece of wood he screwed together, and it broke. And then he did the same thing of one that was, held together with wood glue. And, well, it stayed together. Took about 3 people to break it. So I said, well, why not do it with wood glue and screws? It sounds like the cage is going to be pretty hard to break then. Alright, let's move in now. We're now inside. Now, you're probably wondering, we talk about the cage next? Well, no, we're going to talk about something I used to build the cage. It's heavy. It's heavy. Give me a second now. Oh, God. Oh. Yep. There we go. And there you go. So this is dry lock. So why? I'm going to put it down because I'm so strong. I'm not weak. Alright. So pretty much it's dry lock. Now what is dry lock? Dry lock is a sealant. It makes it more waterproof. It pretty much is the reason why your wooden cage can work in the first place. God, that thing was heavy. 5 gallons of liquid paint, essentially. Now, it is toxic to animals and people if ingested or if wet. So pretty much what you want to do is you want to put about 1 coat on there, let it dry. Alright, now that can take numerous times. For me, it took about an hour for it to dry where I can touch it and I wouldn't have paint on my hand. Now, does that mean you need 1 coat? Nope. You're going to probably need to do about anywhere from 5 to 7 coats, which is kind of bullshit because you only really need 3 to 5. But me personally, my animals are going in there, so I want to go a little overkill. So I did about 7 coats on the inside, and I did about 1 coat on the whole bottom half. Just because, I'm actually keeping water in there because of the drainage system. So, if you're going to dry lock, which you should and need to, honestly, if you want to have any kind of shelf life, you definitely should at least do 3 coats. And you want to make it 5 as well. And that's going to give you plenty of stuff on there. It's going to make it nice and sealed. It ain't going to leak. It's going to be a good cage. And as well, do it while it's all together because it also is going to make it a little harder to get through each and individual crack. So, dry lock for the one. Let's talk about the next thing. Now, as you see right here, this is a latch. Now, pretty much what the latch is doing this whole time is pretty much making sure this door doesn't come sliding off during the night or any time in the day when I'm not here, so the animals aren't free-roaming geckos, or anoles, whatever's in the cage. You'll find out soon. Now that we move to the hinges, you're like, what's a hinge? Pretty much the hinge is going to keep it connected to the door or the plastic or glass or plexiglass, whatever you're doing. Now, how did I get it to go? Pretty much adhesive. Now, specifically epoxy adhesive. That stuff stinks, I tell you. But you better get it done in 5 minutes or you're going to have to get a whole new thing. Now that we made it to the handle, you're like, oh, well, what's that? Pretty much I got bored and I said, oh, I need a handle regardless. So I stole this kid's milk from my little sister, and now we have a door hinge. Now that you got to see my door, well, you're probably wondering, so how many times did you mess it up? Well, I messed it up quite a bit. So let's talk about one of the many reasons why I messed it up. 1, plexiglass is extremely annoying to cut. almost every time I cut it, I'd end up almost making a piece a little too small, a little too jagged. It was very annoying. It's something you definitely want to practice a lot with before you start cutting it, because how much of a waste of material you can make and how much time you can waste, which is what I did. Then the next thing I would say is actually applying the adhesive, because my biggest issue when I was applying the adhesive is I was accidentally getting too much of it in the wrong spots. So it was making it a very strong bond. And since it's all bonded together in one spot, when I try to leave the door open actually for a day just to test it before I put everything in there and make it all ready, well, the door fell off. So, that's how I had to do it. As you see, the adhesive, that took about 3 tries, and, well, some people are going to laugh at me. I expect anyone who's actually done any kind of building of a cage is going to laugh at me for this. So you remember how I mentioned the epoxy adhesive, if I did? Well, so I didn't mix it the first time, and I was wondering why it was half a day later, and it was still not on there. Yeah, I'm smart. Rising up to the very top of this cage, believe it or not, this thing is about 20 inches tall, not including this little thick bit, because all that is just wood for the roof. So I'm not including it because it doesn't give them room inside here. Now the side profile for this cage is about 17 inches. So you're probably wondering, why did I do a little weird number for the depth? So my main reason for that is actually, you see right there past all those sticks? That's a background. Now, as we know, backgrounds take up some space from the animal's ability in their room. Now, it doesn't take up much, but I was like, what's going to hurt that an extra couple inches to give the background its own dedicated area, so it gives the animal some extra room. I was like, oh, it won't be much, and it really wasn't. This thing, wide, is, I believe, the proper thing. I'll fix it in editing. Is about 13 inches, which is not as big as I like. I was aiming more for 15, but it's just how the ball tumbled on this one, sadly. So, you're probably wondering to yourself, what is the point of this video? Quite frankly, it's for this. It's for me to tell you all the mistakes I've made while building this cage, so you don't make the same mistakes. Fairly simple, And because, well, for example, cages, right? We all know these are quite expensive for a glass box. And if you want to do PVC, still quite expensive, and you still don't have full control. And in some people's experience, it's harder to modify a PVC cage than it is a glass, and vice versa. For me, I don't think it'll be the biggest issue, but, spend $300 on a PVC cage. Do I really want to be cutting into it as much? I don't. That's why I'm doing wood, because I'm spending lower costs while being able to have complete control of everything I want to do. If I want to have side ventilation, I want to have huge holes in the roof. If I want to have 20 holes for 20 nozzles for misting, well, I built it, so I can do it. Should I? No. Unless I had it mist for like 1 second every 30 minutes, I guess. I don't know. But, the whole point of this is mainly to have complete control of the environment, all in my control, without spending hundreds of dollars and possibly breaking up the hundreds of dollars of a PVC cage. So, who knows, maybe in free videos and more videos like this, you'll be seeing me telling y'all how to build one. Either way, think that's being in the video. Sub, leave a like, comment, dislike it, share it to your friends. Don't share, I don't care. Just subscribe, do what you want. Have a nice day.